I know, seriously. Hello and welcome to the Douding Thomas Monthly Recap. And we're going to call this the Douding Thomas Yearly Recap as well, because the 86 months of 2020 have finally passed. And the longest year that any of us have ever lived through is finally over. Actually, it's almost over. It'll be over as of tomorrow. And joining us for our last episode of the year is, of course, a co-producer Cliff, who for some reason is still a patron of this show. How you doing tonight, Cliff?
I'm feeling great. I'm still in that Christmas spirit, and
I know, me too.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second.
A little Christmas hangover, yeah.
And also joining us is a special guest who I've been trying to get him onto the have a reason to get him onto the show, but it's just that's how things work. And so I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, you want to do this thing?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do this thing." So we have reviewer and writer for one of the arenas, because I always get them confused, friend and colleague Ricky Villacrez. Ricky, which arena do you work for again?
I work for GSM Arena.
GSM Arena, okay.
GSM Arena, yeah. Phone Arena, funny enough, they're also based where we're based in, overseas, but
right.
Yeah, one of the arenas. But I think GSM Arena is a little bit more known.
Right. Well, I mean, because GSM Arenas, that's the one I type in specifications. I never type GSM Arena. I just type blah, blah specifications. Blam, here's GSM Arena.
First every time, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful. You guys are doing great work over there, and I really appreciate you coming on and having a chat with us. So
Sure, man. Nice to thank you for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and get things started off the way they should get started off on a proper birthday broadcast by picking, and I already know Cliff's vote, but Ricky, I've got the Johnny Walker Scotch collection here.
Oh my goodness. All right.
So I've got a black label, a gold label, and an 18-year blend and a blue label. What are you feeling there? So I already know Cliff's vote.
So what was it again? Black, blue, and what?
And gold, and then just a straight up 18-year blend.
18-year black, blue, gold. I'm only familiar with blue.
Okay.
And black.
Okay.
So I'd go with black.
All right. That was Cliff's vote as
well.
Yeah, I was telling Cliff
a couple of runs together.
A couple of really good friends of mine, and one of them is a Scotch drinker along with me, so he got me this like little Scotch tour pack for my birthday. So, and I said, well, I'm having a birthday broadcast, so let's crack this puppy open, shall we? So anyway, so very good choice there, Ricky. I will let you guys know how it is. And I guess I have to rip off a label here first. This is live TV, folks.
It's kind of like an unboxing, but tastier.
Right?
And forgive me for not knowing this, but today is your birthday, Adam?
Today is my birthday.
Oh my gosh, man. Happy birthday, dude.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. So,
I didn't even know, like, all day.
He looks good for 52, I'll say.
I do. I really do.
Okay.
So, I look pretty crappy for 44, though, unfortunately. So, true story, actually, when I was working at a call center long before I got into this business, I was working with next to this guy, Asian Filipino guy, and that's
what we called him.
He was talking to me. He's like, so you're like, and at the time I was like 38. So he's like, so you're like 28. No, I'm sorry. Wait, sorry. I'm telling the story wrong. I apologize. He's like, so you're in like your 40s or something like that, right? I'm like, I'm actually 38. And he's like, you need to take better care of yourself. I'm like, wow. Okay. So that's the way it is. Huh? Okay. There we go. Well, gentlemen.
That's when he started his Scotch habit.
That's right. It was not too. No, actually, the Scotch habit started after I bought a house. So funny how recurring mortgages will do that to you. So, gentlemen, toast.
Cheers.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
I don't know if you guys are drinking anything, but I am.
Have some water right here.
Nice.
That's smooth. I like that. So a little bit of smoke, not as smoky as the blue. So that's a good call there, boys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, now, blue was my second choice.
Blue is your second? Okay, yeah. I had the blue Actually, the same friends who got me that brought over a Blue Label bottle the day after Christmas for our card night. And so we were drinking Blue Label that night. So it's been a very scotchy week. That's fun.
Yeah.
And I got the Coke chaser.
Oh,
so anyway, since I am drinking scotch tonight, we should probably get the patron shout outs out of the way first before I forget, because you know what scotch does. So Cliff, thank you. No, and then finally,
welcome,
and then for the rest of our patrons, we have Scott Brady. Thank you, Scott. We have Neil Wilson. Thank you very much, Neil. We have Johan Bresky. Thank you, Johan. We have Michael Kepper, who we learned his last name in the last show. So thank you, Michael. And we have Zachary Palmer. Thank you, Zachary. So that now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can talk. So before we got on the air, Ricky, Cliff and I were talking about the Christmas spirit and how we were both feeling it. And like 2020 would have been a perfect excuse for a year to just, say, I don't even care about Christmas. Let's just get this over with and blah, blah, blah. How are you feeling with the whole Christmas? Do you celebrate Christmas? I don't even know. So
yeah, I mean, I'm Hispanic, and we celebrate Christmas on the night, the 24th. So we all get together as a family usually, and we have a big dinner and
nice
and open presents at midnight. But as the years went on, and we grew out of that and opening presents, we just became really like a family dinner. But this year, my parents actually went back to Peru because the borders were closed for so long, and they've wanted to go back for so long, and they could only go now was their opportunity. So we had a Christmas dinner early, and then they went for Christmas, do their own thing. So I mean, we did get a tree. Everything felt kind of rushed though, and like Christmas shopping was different this year, and I mean, it doesn't really get cold here, so it's kind of just the same.
Yeah.
But except for the Christmas music everywhere. I mean, honestly, this year was just like, it just kind of came, and you're like, oh, Christmas is this week? What? And then
I have had those years.
Went.
Yeah.
Not
this year, but
that's how it was for me. That's how it was for me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I can respect that. I can respect. So you did still have the big family get together because you live in Florida. So I'm just kidding. I'm making fun of
Well, no, most of my family's in Peru, actually. So
okay.
It was just really like a close family thing, just our immediate family. And yeah, had a nice dinner. Everybody cooked and just had some wine and, taking it easy, really.
Cooking and wine. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Cliff, what was that?
I said, yeah, it sounds like a nice chill Christmas.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with chill Christmases. I mean, I've got the 10-year-old and the 14-year-old, so they get all hopped up on the presents, and naturally, when you have like a gigantic pile of presents under the tree, like 90% are for them, and so like you sit there with your one, and you're like, I'll just wait until everyone else is done. I'm good, So, but my wife really nailed it with Christmas this year. And actually, can I show you guys what I got for my birthday?
Sure.
Oh.
Stargate Sg1, all 10 seasons and the 2 movies. I am no longer at the mercy of Netflix or Amazon if I ever want to watch the show.
Hey, there you go.
So that was my big birthday present, and
that's
I did
a series that I've never watched, and I've always it's one of those. It's on my list of I'm gonna watch it at some point. And
oh my god, dude, it's so good. Yeah. Like you've got Netflix, you've got Star Wars and Stargate, or Star Wars and Star Trek fans. Stargate is like just a whole other animal because it never takes itself seriously, and I love that about it.
Well, I loved the original movie, and I mean, I saw that in the theaters, so I'd imagine I'd like the series too. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and like you have to appreciate any TV series that stars Richard Dean Anderson that uses the term MacGyver as a verb in the first episode.
Yes.
While on a shot of Richard Dean Anderson, no less. So I mean, it was beautiful. So yeah, it's on Netflix. Go watch it now. I'm telling you. I mean, not now, but like tonight.
Oh, he's gone.
So, now I know Cliff is a Star Trek guy. How about you, Ricky? Where do you fall in the Star?
Okay, this is an interesting one.
I'm putting
on
you
on the star spectrum. I didn't grow up really with any of them. I didn't grow up with Star Wars, with Star Trek. However, in the last 2 years, I've discovered Star Trek and realized, okay, let me watch this. And that's when I realized, why didn't I watch this growing up? This was so cool.
Right?
So yeah, I mean, I've only watched like maybe most of the first series, and then I watched the Next Generation, maybe halfway through, and that's really it. I have kind of fell off from there, but just like the storytelling and like the fantasy of that world is just so apparent in these series.
Nice.
So yeah, like I said, Star Wars I didn't really grow up watching, but that I think if I was going to be either or, I think I would probably be Star Trek.
Mad respect. Mad respect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of lean towards Star Trek myself. Although if anybody asks like which star are you into, I'm like Stargate, because there is no other show. Like I will take 10 seasons of Stargate before any of the Star Trek series, before any of the Star Wars movies or anything. I mean, I gotta say, both Star Trek and Star Wars are really bringing it when it comes to their TV offerings recently, with Discovery, with Picard, with Mandalorian. I'm excited about the new Disney shows that they talked about with I always mispronounce the name, Akosa. Cliff, do you know? Anybody? Okay. The Rosario Dawson character that was introduced in The Mandalorian. I'm looking forward to seeing more from her. Also, I'm a Rosario Dawson fan, but yeah. So anyway, we should probably get on to talk about stuff that we normally. And it should be mentioned that the Doubting Thomas Monthly Recap is like a 4-month-old show of that we've been doing it publicly, and we're still throwing out the script this month because it's such a weird year and it's such a weird month, and it's my birthday and I'm drinking, so we're just gonna go with whatever we have to go with. So we started off the month, and I definitely want to get Ricky's thoughts on this, and I want to get Cliff's thoughts on this too, because Cliff actually has it right now. But we started off the month with our kind of sort of review of the LG Wing. And so, Ricky, did you have a chance to go hands-on with this particular swiveler?
I did. I did get a unit, but they reviewed it at the office. Okay. However, yeah, it's a really interesting concept, to have this phone that swings around. I wish I would have had more time. I have it somewhere. It's somewhere over there. But I do have one. And if it wasn't for LG software, I don't know. There's something about LG software that it's just like, but
I'm sorry, Cliff has got the wide-eyed nod going on, like, oh my God, yes, LG software. So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no, I mean, that's pretty much it. I think like the concept is there. The implementation is not full because the secondary screen is not compatible with everything. But it is definitely a direction in where we have these different these different kinds of form factors, and we want to play with them. And I'm excited for the fact that they did it at all.
Oh yeah.
So the execution with hardware wise was good. Software wise, maybe could have used some work, or maybe could have used some more baking, but just the fact that it was out and released makes me excited about what's coming next year in terms of form factors and the ways that these hardware companies, are going to push what we know as regular hardware to its limits.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing that I came away with, and it's funny, Cliff has been a little bipolar on this phone, like in our private chat. Whenever he comes back to me, he's like, "This is so amazing," and then he's like, "I'm going to send it back to you. I hate it." Then he's like, "I want this," and he's just like, "I don't want this anymore." So anyway, the one thing that I think really impressed me with the LG Wing was the level of finish that came along with the product. Like, this is a product that very much could have had sloppy corners to it, or sloppy something to it, and just LG seemed to really polish everything up to a nice shine and ship an actual product. There you go. LG actually shipped a really good product, and I mean, there was very little, especially from the hardware standpoint, there was very little that you could point to as an obvious defect, like they didn't think this through, or something like. I know Michael Fisher kind of harped on the lack of a wide-angle selfie camera. so you can't do like kind of like a here's you and here's me in the same shot with the dual recording thing. But like the gimbal is amazing. So I don't know if I did my my 5G testing around the Chicagoland area. That entire video was shot handheld on the LG Wing. So I mean, like that's just incredible, and I love the software pans and everything. And so like a lot of that, like the software, I think is just one of those things that has to evolve with use cases. And I think there's really, I mean, LG's software, I don't really have a big problem with it, but I understand a lot of people do. But like LG's software in general is, for that phone, I think was actually fairly well done, considering no consumers had actually put a hand on it yet. So, you can work out your test cases as far as you want, but you're never going to find every edge case. So I was just really impressed with the level of finish, especially compared to another revolutionary device that came out not this year, but last year in the Samsung Fold and the even the Motorola Razer. Both of those had like obvious flaws where you're like, well, it's a Gen 1 product, whatever, whereas with the LG Wing, there was no real obvious Gen 1 issue with it. So that's kind of how I felt about it. Now, Cliff, what do you think? Because you, like I said, you went back and forth on this like over the course of about 2 weeks.
So like most LG hardware, especially at the high end, it's very nicely made. And LG's OLED screens now are awesome. I actually think, if you're just taking it the sort of global approach, I do think whether it's the Velvet or now the Wing, the software has actually been tightened up.
Okay.
My issue actually with the software, beyond the stuff that's like specific to the Wing, is just the fact that, as an example, with the Velvet, and I think you're probably going to see similar issues with the Wings, that at least with my Velvet, I have not received a security update since August.
Okay.
So I don't care so much about like system level updates, but the fact that it's not getting security updates is just, especially for $1,000 phone.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
And this is a carrier version, or is this an unlocked variant?
The Verizon variant.
Yeah, the Verizon version.
The Velvet is an AT&T variant. However, I don't know that it would make too much difference with LG, to be honest. In fact, with Samsung, and I know it's a different manufacturer, but the carrier variant seemed to get the updates before the unlocked ones do.
Yeah.
Circling back around to the hardware, though, again, very nicely made. I love the sort of inertia that it has. That you feel when you swing that screen up, and it has that solid thunk when it reaches that in. Like again, it's.
Hold on, I gotta do it again. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm in love with the hardware. I just don't know that it gives you enough of like a reason to use it as like a secondary thing. Like why does it really exist?
Well, that's solid. One thing that I'd say the main use case that I really enjoyed from it was like having a video playing or having a game going on or something like that. Like I would play, I did a TikTok video of me playing Call of Duty Mobile with the election results in the bottom window, like constantly updating. I'm like, yeah, this is totally healthy.
I do remember that.
But the one thing that I really liked about the LG Wing, the main use case, was like watching Netflix and pulling up like IMDb to like, who is that actor? I know who that is. And like, having that, like providing more context to the video that you were watching, that was a huge use case for me. And that's something that like, I don't even think you would get from a dual screen, like an LG V60 with dual screen case. I think that's something that uniquely suited to the LG Wing. Like the one thing with the Asphalt 9 where it shows you the map on the second screen, it's whatever. But like if other games and other software would pick up on that and say, hey, this could be like, what I would love? Call of Duty Mobile with your backpack in that second screen. You didn't have to like open it up all the time. That would be amazing. That would be like next level. But you need a lot of people. Hey, Ken, you need a lot of people to pick up this device, it's a chicken and egg problem, of course. Like that's the same problem that you're going to talk about with any new form factor, is you need the people to come on before the developers are going to waste any time to build out for it. But yeah, I mean, I would love something like that, but we just need the user base. And which is funny because the nature of the Explorers project is they're never going to get the user base to get developers to pick this up. So that's going to be LG's show from start to finish. But I love the idea of the Explorers project too, and I'm very excited to see what's going to be coming next from LG in that regard.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that there isn't more support for that, the multi-screen stuff like that scales well in, like, the base part of Android, where you didn't have to have like apps that are specifically coded for it. And maybe that will come, because I know I know dual screen support is built into, I think it was built into Android 10 and beyond. But it's still not, it's not something that just adapts.
Sorry, I'm reading the comment. So.
It's just not something that adapts natively. And so, yeah, the fact that you have to, as you were saying, code specifically for it, if you're an app developer for in this case a SKU that is not going to be in many people's hands, doesn't make it worth it for developers. And that was actually the problem I had, is when you flip the screen, I could not figure out how to actually add additional apps to it. It was like it just had its
right. Okay, I'm slightly vindicated then, because it took me 3 weeks to figure that out. You can't swipe up from the bottom. You have to swipe up from just over the bottom to bring up the app drawer, and then you long tap on whatever you want to hold, and then you can drag into the carousel. It drove me nuts trying to figure that out. I actually figured out how to link two apps together before I figured out how to add apps to the carousel. So my workaround for that was to add Netflix plus something else that I was never going to use, just so I could put Netflix up on that second screen. So that was like my workaround for that. But yeah, so I kind of blame Google's gestures on that, or LG's for having a bad implementation of that swipe up gesture or whatever. I don't know whose fault it is. It's not mine. I know that. So I'm good. I'm pretty good with that. So all right, so we should gather up some final thoughts on the LG Wing before we move on to our next topic. Any final thoughts? I'll open up the floor.
I like the pop-up camera implementation.
Okay.
They really, otherwise they would have had to somehow stick it into the front half of the panel, but they just said, we'll just put it in the back. And we'll figure it out. But again, to piggyback off your comment about the cameras gimbal mode is really cool. All the controls and the dual recording mode is really cool as well. The in-display scanner works great. But like you said, it's the price tag, and then the 765G. I wouldn't say is a con really. Like it's quick, it's snappy, it does everything it needs to do. It has 5G, so I can't complain about that.
Okay. You know what? I just figured out in real time why LG put a pop-up selfie in here. You want to know why?
Why?
Because you put in a punch hole camera on that display. What orientation do you put in the camera sensor? Do you put it in portrait or do you put it in widescreen? Because I wouldn't be able to answer that question. So I 100% guarantee you that's exactly why LG went with the pop-up selfie camera. Had nothing to do with edge bezels. It was just because, how do we do that?
What if they would have put in two selfie cameras, each one in a different orientation? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, then you have the 8 million people that are complaining whether or not they own it or not, that it has that it has the punch hole cameras. And they'll be complaining about that, just like they complain about notches.
And then they would be complaining about, I don't know which one to look at.
Right. And actually,
I can see the YouTube comments now.
Can we give a shout out to? Actually, I was gonna give a shout out to LG, and I can't remember why. Like something that we. Can we? Yeah, I don't remember. Never mind. Forget it. I said anything.
It'll come back to you.
I'm really excited that LG is doing the Explorers project.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to me, it's nice to see them thinking out of the box and to see form factors that are closer to what we saw, like in the early days of Android, or even in like feature phones.
Mm-hmm. Actually, one last thing about the LG Wing. Shout out for that reviewer's kit. That was one hell of a presentation. Did you get the full thing, Ricky?
I sure did. Yeah,
With
with the little pop up, with the little
the
video brochure.
Yep.
Yeah, I did. I got the whole. Yeah,
I was trying to figure out how I could send that to Cliff as well. But like just the logistics of like getting a much bigger box and putting in that extra padding. So, but I still have the video brochure.
The wing also weighs like 8 pounds. It's a thick boy.
It is a thick boy. It is a thick boy. But all right, cool. So the other not review that we did this month was the iPhone 12 Pro. So, Ricky, I imagine you probably had that at some point.
You would actually imagine incorrectly because I did not.
Really?
No,
okay.
No, I don't have any iPhones right now, actually. So
no kidding. You have used iPhones in the past?
I have. The last iPhone I reviewed was actually the 10R.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's legit.
It was
number 5 on the top 10 activation lists of Christmas this year. If I
that's right.
Correctly.
That list came out, right?
Yep.
The number 10 phone was like an LG budget phone,
like a K30 or something like that.
K30
yeah, from 2018, no less.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. It was funny because I saw that list and I'm like, okay, I gotta Google that LG phone because what is that?
That is like the straight talk / MVNO staple though. Like that low end series of LGs I see on all of the MVNOs. So that's got to be the reason.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
So, even for like the Metros and the Crickets.
So big shout out to John Ruttinger, who I finally managed to snag down for an interview. That's a busy guy, by the way. So but he came on and he was able to work with me on the on kind of like a real-time like iPhone review. Like, is this supposed to be this way? Yes, it's supposed to be this way. Okay, let's go on. Because my thing is, and I think I'm going to adopt John's policy on this, is 6 months on, 6 months off for iPhone and Android. Just because there's so much about iOS that I still, like, even to this day, having used an iPhone for the last 2 months, I still do not understand about iOS. And like, I thought using an iPad would be enough, and it wasn't. So, the one thing I kind of took away from the iPhone is I need to learn it a lot better. And like I'm getting it. I'm getting more and more every day. The one real cool, the nifty feature that I like these days is when you open up the multitasking view when you're connected to your car, and there's like a little bar at the bottom that says, "Hey, you usually open Pocket Cast when you connect to this device. You want to do that?" I'm like, hell yeah, I want to do that. So that's like a really smart implementation of iOS in particular. So that I'm digging, but yeah. So now, Cliff, you're an iPhone occasional user. So
not for a while, but
has it been a while for you too? Okay,
I did play around with iOS 14.
Okay,
on an iPhone 7 that I had sitting around the house that I ended up sending to somebody. But
okay,
I played with it for a little bit. I did not have a chance to play with widgets or some of the features to really get in depth with it. But I mean, I will say this just as an aside, it's amazing how quick an iPhone 7 with iOS, with a 4-year-old or a 4-year-old phone with the latest operating system can still feel like,
oh yeah,
that vertical integration thing. There's a lot to be said for that you can still have a phone. If you actually own it, that can still work as your daily if you really want it to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, name one Android phone. The HTC HD2.
No, but I mean, yeah, you're so right. Like, even Pixels, the Pixel 2 saw its last update, this month. So, and that's a 3-year-old phone. So, and you've got the iPhone 7, which will honestly probably see iOS 15. That'll probably be the last one, but it'll probably see iOS 15. So it's got that going for it. But
honestly, if your battery doesn't have too many cycles on it, or if you can replace the battery in a phone that old, it's probably still good for most people.
So, Ricky, what about the new MacBooks? Do you have either of the M1 MacBooks?
So the M1 MacBooks, man, I was seriously feeling FOMO from that.
Okay.
I was like, oh my gosh, I want this, but I don't need it, but I want it, but I didn't get one. And that's where I ended up. So basically the M1 MacBooks, because a lot of, our community, all they do is edit and, edit basically is what we need our computer horsepower for.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them were impressed with how this was handling this really high quality videos. But, if you're doing just about anything else, it might not be for you. And the one thing that I guess kind of turned me off from it was I saw, I can't remember the YouTuber's name, but she was basically explaining that if you don't use Final Cut, that you should not get an M1 MacBook because Premiere is not optimized yet for M1, but I believe DaVinci Resolve is, which I do use, but there's still like the bugs, occasional stuff in there. But yeah, I don't have one, but I know some people who did buy one and jumped the gun and said, I need to get this because everybody's talking about it. But yeah, everybody was talking about it. M1 MacBooks. They were very impressive. And even the Mac Mini too.
True story. Last night I rolled over to my wife while she was half asleep and said, by the way, if they up the stimulus to $2,000, I think we're getting a MacBook. So just saying.
You're like, just to let you know.
Just FYI, I know you're half asleep and you can't really object at this point, but if that happens,
I want a MacBook.
Well, no, because I think I told her we would both get MacBooks because she's got like a 2011 MacBook that her school issued her because she's a teacher, and it still has an optical drive. Let's just put it that way. That's how old this thing is.
Okay.
And so yeah, right. And so I was thinking because I've got my 2015 where the battery is swelling, and if I get that fixed, then I can give that to my wife. But then I could just get an M1 MacBook for myself, and it'd be great. So, but hey, I'm stimulating the economy. All right. So I just I'm probably stimulating one of the 4 companies this year that absolutely doesn't need stimulus, but at the same time, I don't know.
Stimulating the stockholders, right?
No, that's right. And the stockholders will be very happy that I'm stimulating them. And this conversation is getting very
walk
weird.
away, Adam. Just let it go.
We should probably move on. So yeah, like the iPhone, I'm gonna keep using it at least until March. Just because I think by then I'll probably have a pretty good handle on iOS. Plus, I have a second T-Mobile SIM and I have the Samsung Galaxy FE, so I can carry that around as well and get kind of the dual experience.
It's true. I'm sure that's very stimulating.
It is. So, Ricky, since you didn't get the iPhone and you haven't gotten the iPhone since the 10R, is there any like FOMO there from missing out on the latest and greatest of iOS?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes mostly for social media because everything that is posted from an iPhone looks so much better. Then that's the only reason.
Okay.
But also, I mean, I'm pretty sure it works better on iOS because every once in a while I'm trying to post a photo to Instagram and it just doesn't show up and I have to exit and then go back in. And this happens maybe like 40-30% of the time, and it's kind of annoying. So that's the only reason. I mean, otherwise, I find iOS frankly boring. It works well, but it's just like, to me, it's just I get really bored.
No, I get it.
Of it.
I get it.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I mean that was it.
Well, I was gonna say, so what are you using as a daily driver these days?
Okay, that's a great question. So right now, I am using the Pixel 5.
Okay.
I really love the size. I was I just answered this question for Nick on Fandroid.
Oh, nice.
My top phone of this year, actually have 2. The first one is the OnePlus 8 Pro, which I used most of the year. The OnePlus 8 Pro is really fast. It has all the features. It has 5G. It's wireless charging, reverse, like everything. It's fully equipped. Now, when the Pixel 5 came out, I was really I first gave it kind of a harsh review. I was like, why is Google doing this with the camera? They can do so much more. But then I put my SIM in it and I was like, okay, I can see why this costs this much and why it's getting a lot of good reviews. And I should revisit it for GSM Arena. I should revisit it as a long-term review, but
okay.
the size is so nice. I grabbed like the OnePlus 8 Pro to like edit something on there and it's huge. It's just it's so like it,
especially the Pro.
Pro, and it's hard to hold it because of how like thin the edges are, and this is just so much more manageable. It's quick enough. The battery lasts great, and just the size, it's like it fits in my hand so much easier, and it's like I said, it's like boop, so.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got the mossy green too.
I got the green one. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Pixel 4a remains one of my favorite phones of the year, and the size has a very big part of it. The size is a very big reason why. And like the Galaxy S20 FE is a 6.1 inch screen, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
Okay, so and like the 4A is not the 4A 5G, just a straight up 4A is 5.8, I think, something like that. So like like that size range is pretty good for me. So like you get anything bigger than that, like the Wing, which is like was it 6.5, 6.8, something like that? Yeah. So like that's a bit crazy, and so
here's the Wing next to the Pixel 5. Do you see this?
This is like a 12-year-old next to LeBron. I love that.
And this is with the thick fabric case on the Pixel.
So here's a comment from Ken Daniels says, for $2,000, I should get the Pixel 4a 5G and the Moto 360 third generation. That's $150 on B&H. And unless I am wrong, we lost Cliff there for a second. Unless I'm wrong, that would actually come out to less than the base model iPad Air, or not iPad Air, the MacBook Air. So that's actually not a terrible idea. But Kenneth, you got to be listening to the podcast, man, because I'm not going to buy the Pixel 4a 5G because of the millimeter wave Verizon stupid tax. We've been over this.
Verizon stupid tax.
Yes, the VST. That's what we call it on the podcast.
I love that.
Is the $100 Verizon stupid tax. But I don't know where Cliff went, so he's gone. So I guess you're my new co-host today, Ricky. Congratulations.
I feel very underqualified for this position.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. You had is that a BlackBerry in the background there?
That is a BlackBerry, actually. Good eye. It's a Key 2.
Nice.
BlackBerry Key 2.
Nice. Yeah. I got the red one. I'm just saying.
Oh, the LE?
Yep.
Nice.
No, not the LE.
The
There
was a red Key 2?
Yeah, there was. I can't find it. It's in one of my Boxes O phones.
Boxes O phones.
Let's see, where is it? Okay, this is great radio, by the way. Here it is.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We should probably
that's not it.
Transmit it for the listeners. So Adam spotted a.
There we go.
I'm sitting by my windowsill, and Adam spotted a BlackBerry sitting on my windowsill. I pulled it up. It's a BlackBerry Key 2, and then Adam is just showing his now.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Well, and he dropped it. You don't need to see what happened to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Look at that. Nice. I mean, this is such.
Man, I wish I had the red one. But either way, this is. Did you have a BlackBerry back in the day, like before these?
No. So I didn't get into smartphones until the Palm Centro 650. Was it 350? Something 50. 650, I think it was. I was super late to this game. I mean, like I was really, really late. So like a lot of people will talk about, I remember the Samsung Blue Blow from, Sprint in 1996. I remember that. So like, I didn't even get into the smartphone game until like 2002, 2000. No, wait, no, shit. What am I saying? I didn't get into the smartphone game until, no, it wasn't that late. It was 2000. Okay, it was like 2 years before the pre, so that would have been 2007. Like that's when I started to get into things. My brother had a BlackBerry before I did. So I never understood it because like at the time AT&T was charging that like extra $20 a month just for the BlackBerry service.
I remember
And I'm
that.
like, God, why would you pay for that? But yeah, so the Palm Centro 650? I'm embarrassing myself now because I think I'm mislabeling the number. But it was the Palm Centro, whatever. No, not Centro. Trio 650. That's what it was.
Okay.
And then the Centro was like the consumer friendly light version of the Palm, which I also had the Centro, by the way. But I had a Trio 680, I believe, was the first one. Or did I have a 650 then? Whatever. Nobody cares. So, but like my first smartphone was the Palm Pre Plus, which was on AT&T, and then like the first smartphone that I could actually name and people would be able to identify with was the Samsung Galaxy S3.
Okay,
so,
yes.
Nobody knew what a Palm was before that. So,
a Palm Trio. I remember. I remember those phones. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what else I have here?
What do you got?
Wait. Did I put it out here? Yes, it's right behind me. Is the T-Mobile Sidekick 2.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's nice.
This was actually my first phone, my first cell phone, and this was 04, I think. But
Okay.
this at the time, I think the plan was $50. It included everything, unlimited text data. Calls was like 400 minutes per month or whatever. But it only had edge data.
Oh my.
And
hey, Cliff's back. Okay.
There he is. All right.
Yep.
Hey, Cliff. We were just talking about old phones. I don't know how we got into that. Adam spotted a BlackBerry here.
Yeah,
in
I
my
spotted the
windowsill.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
Wait,
Cliff
this is a
brought some
Windows
goodies.
phone.
Cliff brought some goodies, so check this stuff out.
What is this?
That is a Dell Venue Pro.
Dell Venue Pro. Oh, Dell. That's right. Wow.
Wait, show him the keyboard.
I did.
He did.
Oh,
he
okay.
did. He split it.
Got
He slid it up. Yeah.
Action.
I was pouring more scotch, so I didn't see it.
I did see your key. Is that a key? It looks like a key 1 actually in your window there.
This is a key 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's key 2. Okay.
Yeah. I
It's
have a
hard to
key 1
tell.
somewhere else. Yeah,
Okay.
it's in the dark back there. And then here I have the Sidekick 2. Hold on.
Nice.
Sidekick 2. Well, let's put it on the microphone.
Yes. Suck
There
that,
it is.
LG Wing.
Oh, that sound.
Yeah, it's a piece of tech that I love. I just keep it wherever in my room somewhere.
No, that's
But yeah.
that's legit. I especially like the fact that you have the
Thanks for
key
doing
2
all-
like so prominently displayed. Oh, what do you got there?
Wait. I know what that is. That's the G1.
Yeah, it is. Where does it sit? There we go.
There it is.
Wow.
Wow,
The
there we go.
green one.
That's a gigantic G1 logo right in the right.
And a gigantic box for a very small phone.
Holy crap. So Samuel, I'm not even going to try that last name, says he uses a Lumia 1520 as a daily driver sometimes. Wow, that
was a nice phone. I had that phone for a while.
That takes a certain amount of dedication, though. I mean, if you're going to use it as a daily driver, like it's one thing to carry it around. It's another thing to actually like take calls with it.
So I'm showing the G1. I forgot it had that little swivel action.
That swivel screen.
Yeah, I haven't fired this phone up in a long time. But
that's nice.
The heyday of HTC.
Look at how much extra room there is in this box. It's so
It probably came with like a belt holster and a charging dock and two chargers.
Kind of reminds me. I don't know if you guys, Ricky. I don't know if you played like DOS games. If you're that, pre-Windows games, but they would come with like, it looked like a car manual. Do you remember those, Adam? The manuals for games from like pre-Windows era.
Vaguely. The only games that I played pre-Windows were like the Dungeons and Dragons, like Pool of Radiance, and
oh my god, it's actually got a T-Mobile sim in it. Holy crap! it's a full size.
Oh my gosh!
Sim.
Wow.
I bought this off of eBay like 5 or 6 years ago. But yeah, I mean, look at the size of the materials with it. Like a lot of this is T-Mobile. Anyway, it's funny. Your internet, one touch away. That's what it says here.
So, and by the way, Sam is Sam from the Across the Pondcast.
Oh, nice.
I cannot pronounce that. Which I know I've done that. Cliff, did they ever get a hold of you to get on there?
Not yet, but I'd love to join him.
Okay, well, Sam, call him. Right, so that's a fun podcast. I tune into that as often as I can. And that's one thing, guys. Like, let's actually just.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Let's kind of get this out there. In 2020, since like I don't go anywhere, since I don't commute anywhere, like my podcast listening is so down from like where it used to be. I had to start skipping the stuff you should know. They do like a Flex thing on Saturday where they put it like an old podcast out so they can put new advertising on it. And so I had to like start skipping those just to get caught up. And I'm still not even, I think I'm still in like the Thanksgiving area of stuff you should know podcast. And like, but like my podcast listening is down so far this year. And I really just want to start going places so I can start listening to podcasts again. Am I wrong here? Or like,
no,
Cliff,
not at all.
Because, I mean, Cliff, you used to have like a 2 hours of commuting every day to go to your day job.
That's where I got my podcast listening in, and I miss it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just, as someone who, I mean, like you guys, I'm not doing video editing most of the time. I'm doing, working in Photoshop. And
let's be honest, I do unboxings. There's not much editing involved. Anyway.
But, oh, man. Got the HTC Rollerball.
Oh, the Rollerball! Wow!
If I remember this right, this was actually like a Windows Mobile design that they sort of cribbed for this. Like it was originally something else. Anyway. Yeah. So I really don't get to listen to as many podcasts. I can't. At least for the podcast that I really want to pay attention to. I mean, there's some where it's just kind of nice to have the audio in the background, but then I'm listening to music instead. I just can't concentrate on doing like text edit heavy kind of stuff when I'm editing and listen to a podcast. I really miss it. Yeah. Sorry. That was long-winded.
No. Yeah. I mean, no, my thing is like when I'm listening to podcasts, unlike radio shows, like my mind knows that if I miss something on a radio show, it's just gone. And like, I just don't get to hear it, whatever it was. Like when I used to listen to sports radio in Chicago before I realized that it's all Bears. When I used to do that, so like I would be able to like, it would be okay if I like tune something out, but now like with podcasts, it's like I have the ability to rewind, and it's like I missed what they said there. Now I have to rewind 10 minutes, and like now I have to re-listen to that 10 minutes again. And it's like, to me, for some reason, I can't shut that part of my brain off that says like it's okay just to have background noise, because like I actually want to hear what they have to say, and I have the ability to control my ability to go back and re-listen to it. So yeah, I can't do it like when I'm doing work or stuff like that. So I will often listen to podcasts while I do dishes or something like that, when I'm doing like household chores, especially like cutting the grass. But now I've got my kids cutting the grass, which is, by the way, amazing. But it's just less podcast listening for me. How about you, Ricky? When do you do your podcast consumption? Do you do podcast consumption?
Yes. So I still do drive. I don't drive often because I don't commute, but when I do drive, I try to catch up on some podcasts. I like to listen to How I Built This, one of the NPR podcasts.
Oh, okay.
And then there's also what's the other one? I can't remember the name. Car Talk, a classic.
Oh man.
Okay. I think that's
so much.
What's
that? I was
that?
gonna say that's a favorite.
I miss those guys so much.
Yeah, they're great. But yeah, I mean, I don't listen to too many podcasts, maybe like 3, occasionally 4. But I when I do listen to them is when I'm, like you said, like doing some household chore, usually doing laundry, or cooking. Yeah.
Or when you're on one.
What?
Or when you're on one.
Of course.
Yeah. So no pressure. Don't feel like you have to or anything. But all right. So another thing, we already talked about the Apple M1 computers, but the Apple M1 is directly responsible for the computer that I'm currently recording and broadcasting this podcast on, which is the MSI GL75 Leopard, which I did a third not review this month on because and my reason for not doing a full review on the Leopard on the MSI computer that I'm working on right now is because like since my MacBook was on the verge of failure, when I bought this laptop, I had to hit the ground running and just start doing work on it. So like I didn't have time to like, you know, I've got this keyboard that like cycles through the colors. Like it's an RGB keyboard, so it cycles through this like wave of colors across the keyboard.
Yeah, the SteelSeries keyboard.
I'm a month into this computer ownership. I do not know if I can change that. I'm pretty sure I can, but I do not know how because I've never had the time to like really kind of futz with it and try to figure it out. Like there's an MSI app on this computer that I have never opened. You know, there's just like a lot of things about this computer that I've just never looked at because I had to, you know, I came into this computer and I just had to start writing and reviewing and recording podcasts and editing videos. Like I've never had a chance to like, this is a work product thing, not a fun thing. So it's like, so when I did the not review of this, it was just like, look, I'm going to tell you what I think about this based on a month's worth of work product. But like, I can't tell you if this is a game, if this is a laptop you should play Fortnite on because I've never played Fortnite on it because I'm too damn busy. So
I've had this like inner joke going on with myself that makes me laugh with no one else. Where I keep thinking that like, wouldn't it be funny if like every time I see Adam on like a new Doubting Thomas or we just talk on it, he's become like more like Steps of Gamer Bro. Like, you know, first he's got like a gaming chair, and the next time I see him he's got like gunner glasses and like
I do not have that stuff.
And those like I forget what those what do they call the triangle LED backlit panels that everybody's buying now?
Oh yeah,
like
I do want those.
The Leaf, I think.
Yeah, the Nets. Leaf, I think is what they're called. Yeah.
And then he's got a sponsor for all of his YouTube videos that have nothing to do with his this actual topic.
But yeah, so like and you know, as Cliff pointed out, I'm not a gamer, but I needed a sort of gaming rig to, you know, push videos out and like, you know, publish podcasts. And you know, I've only done one video so far that was shot all in 4K footage, and this computer did not like that. It did not enjoy that experience. So like, I don't know if that was just like a thing with the way I shot it, or if it was like a setting or something. Like it shouldn't have bogged down the way it did, but it did. So
I was sorry to interrupt you. Which editing software are you using on it?
Premiere.
Oh, Premiere. Okay.
Yeah, I'm all Adobe. I do Adobe Audition for podcasts and Premiere for, and you know, Photoshop for the occasional times that I actually have to manipulate images and I can't get Cliff to do it. And yes, I intentionally said that while you were drinking your beer to see if I can get you to spit up all over the camera. Anyway,
got him mid sip.
Yep.
Spit number 2.
So yeah, I'm all Adobe, and you know, it's tax deductible, so that's nice. But my wife's a teacher, so I get the education discount. So,
excellent.
Yes.
Maybe we can get our collective heads together here because I don't understand. I mean, 4K, yes, it is 4K video is a heavy load, but I mean, he's got like a GTX 1650 or 1660.
1660.
Yeah. The mobile version, but still. And like it's a Core i7, like 9th or 10th gen. Like it shouldn't be struggling that hard with like 16 gigabytes of RAM.
And I mean, it may be the type of thing. It may be the type of thing that I just needed to like do a reboot, but I honestly just haven't had time to do it yet. So.
Or it could just be Adobe's buggy software. I mean, honestly,
it could be. It could very well be.
They just released a whole new series of updates for the 2021 version, so
and
that
I think
very well could be it.
And I think mostly, like, most of my videos are going to be shot in 1080p anyway, so I don't really care about it that much. I figure by the time that, like, my YouTube graduates to 4K, and, you know, a 4K or GTFO, dude, I figure by the time my YouTube channel graduates to that level, I'll probably have a bigger budget, so maybe I can get a better laptop at that point. But for now, I'm just shooting everything in 4K or in 1080p. I just thought it would be fun to try to shoot in 4K just to see what would happen. And as it turns out, what happened was kind of bad. So
I would really enjoy a video of your wife going from her MacBook to a 17-inch gamer laptop. It's like her upgrade. Here you go.
Well, it's funny because like when I
this
first
5-pound charging brick.
when I first
my
got
God,
this
that
computer,
charger.
like both my wife and my daughter looked at the keyboard and they're like, "Oh, that's so pretty. I want that." And I'm like, "Well, for $1,200, you can have it too." And they're like, "I don't like it that much." So
I have
but-
a Thunderbolt dock with I have a HP workstation, but it has a 230 volt charging for the power supply for the Thunderbolt dock, and it is hilariously huge. Like I thought the one for my laptop was huge. I kid you not. I got the box. I got it off of eBay used, and it's probably 2 inches tall and like 7 inches long. It's ridiculous. It probably weighs 5 pounds.
Oh God, yeah. The charging brick for this laptop is bigger than my head. It's insane. It's like as Michael Fisher likes to call it, the brick on the string for this computer is like it's like a huge brick.
Can we just
All
talk
right,
real quick. This is just talking about. I mean, I showed you we were just comparing phones, right? Comparing sizes. But okay, I remember when the Venue Pro felt like a ridiculously huge phone. Here is a Galaxy S20 Fan Edition.
I made jokes about the Evo 4G being so huge it needed a kickstand, and that was like what, a 4.7 inch screen or something?
It was a 4.3 inch.
4.3
with more bezel than screen.
And that was huge.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
at the time.
That was amazingly huge, especially since we were like Cliff and I. We had the Pre's at that point, which had like what, a 3.0 inch screen,
I think. No, it was a 3-inch screen because the Pixie was 2.5.
And I was gonna say the Pre 3 was 3.5.
Yeah.
So which was like gargantuan.
The iPhone, which was
at
small.
the time. Oh my god.
No, I
it's
actually graduated from the Pre to the original Pre to the HTC Evo 4G, and yeah, it did feel massive at the time. That is one of those phones. Like you ever go back? I'm sure you guys as reviewers and just phone nerds have this thing, and you're like, I wish I'd kept that phone. I was talking to Adam before we all jumped on, and I had a Nextbit Robin. And I really wish I'd held on to that phone.
Nextbit.
Oh,
and
Ricky, did you not see the glass? That's a Nextbit Robin glass.
Oh, that's dope.
A CES 2016 Nextbit by Robin.
Wow.
And Tumbler.
To me, the Evo 4G, especially now that RIP Sprint, like,
yeah,
I kind of wish I had the exactly. WiMAX. It would be nice to have. I wish I could like find, new in the box and like and buy one before everybody becomes nostalgic about old phones and they go up in price. Because it's going to happen.
But the thing is, even if you could buy them, like you can't use them. They're just
that
really
is
like
the problem.
That's what?
I said that is the problem.
Yeah, they wouldn't have band support for modern stuff.
Very sure I could not, because I don't even think the original I don't think this G1 is even 3G. It might be.
No, it was not. I'm pretty sure it was not.
Yeah.
It was probably Edge. Wait.
Yeah.
07. That came out in 08, right? Or 07?
It was after the iPhone, so
probably 08.
So it would have been back half of 07, 08.
I don't recall when 3G
look at the
was.
box and see.
Probably could.
A 3-megapixel camera.
Hey, speaking of old camera phones, about the Galaxy Zoom.
Oh my
baby.
gosh!
You know what? Can I tell you a story? Pocket Now
Please.
sent this to me so that I could do reviews of phones. So I could use this to take photos of phones because, like, I did not have a good camera at the time, and this was considered a good camera at the time. but when I got this, I dedicated a month of using this as a daily driver, just to see what it was like to carry around a DSLR in your pocket. So for those of you who are listening to this later on, this is the Samsung Galaxy Zoom. I think it might have been the S4 Zoom. It was basically a 10x optical zoom camera. It was basically like a smartphone bolted onto the back of a smartphone, of a DSLR. And it's amazing. So yeah, I still have this baby laying around. I'm kind of proud of that.
I remember Miriam Jawar took that phone to Burning Man, along with it might have been that or its successor, and it was like that and like the Lumia 1020 and something else, and did a huge camera comparison between the two. Shout out to Miriam. Hi, Miriam.
Hey, Miriam. Yeah, she's coming up on an upcoming episode. I've got her interview in the can. I just haven't run out of material, so I haven't had to publish it yet. So that's the thing is, like, I've gotten to the point, and I'm hoping that CES kind of reboots this, because I'm kind of running out of top story material. So this week we've got Johnny Feist coming on to talk about DJI and the entity list for the United States, and also new FAA regulations for drones. So that was a timely piece, but yeah, beyond that, I'm kind of out of interviews. So Miriam is one of them. So I will get her out there. I will get her out there soon. So actually, let's go ahead and transition on over then, and kind of start wrapping things up, because frankly, I ran out of scotch. So, Ricky, you are registered for CES, I'm sure.
I got the email, but I'm not yet, but I will be.
Okay, that's fair.
Yes.
That's fair.
Yes.
So, now I have to say, unlike most of the people in the industry, now I want to ask you. Let me ask you this first. How do you feel about CES in general? Like, we're not putting aside 2021 and pandemic, and like, how do you feel about going to Las Vegas and attending CES? What's your opinion of that? Because there's a big pendulum there.
Okay. Sure. So my first CES was 2015. No, 2016.
Okay.
And this was when the only companies there showing phones were Huawei and Honor, and they don't show phones anymore at CES. So for us, GSM Arena, CES isn't significant because there's not really any developments on major flagships until really MWC, that happens like a little bit more than a month later. Yeah. So basically what we cover at CES is usually like the LG K20s and the J1s and you know, all the budget stuff that the company decided to release later on. I mean, I like going to Vegas. Going around to different hotels is sometimes fun when you forget that you're rushing from meeting to meeting. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going to Vegas. Am I gonna miss going this year? I didn't go last year, which is like, I think that's the year that who was it that had it? What's the name? The award show, the Bulldogs. Who was it? Narav organized the award show. Mobile Nations at the time, because he's not there anymore. So I guess it's now what, Future, right?
Future.
Yeah, so that company, I didn't go for that. I wasn't there for that. So but this year I didn't go, and then obviously this year I don't know if anybody else is going. I don't think, are they having in-person CES still?
It's virtual. It's 100%.
It's virtual.
And so that was the next question I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Like, normally I look forward to CES. I don't like Las Vegas, but I have never been there not for work. So like I think my wife loves Vegas. So I think like she and I need to take a weekend and go out there sometime and just have some fun.
Should, because Vegas isn't just like, you know, we go to Vegas when we're always tired, and we're tired of the people, tired of seeing hotels, and we're tired of everybody, you know, all the drunk people on the streets. But if you go there and you're having a good time and you're not on the clock and you're just enjoying, you know, seeing the different hotels and seeing the different restaurants, but really that's really all there is to do there, unless you go on a day trip and you let's go to like you know, the canyons and check out some other outdoor stuff.
Right. By the way, pro tip for anybody visiting Las Vegas: go to Hoover Dam at sunrise, because it is freaking gorgeous. So like, we went there in 2000. When was the last time I went? 2019, was it? We went there, and Gary Sims was there and he's from Romania. He's never seen desert. Like, he's never been in a desert area. So he wanted to go see the desert, and he also wanted to see sunrise over a desert. I personally wanted to see Hoover Dam because I'd never seen Hoover Dam before. So they said, well, let's go see the Hoover Dam at sunrise. And I'm like, okay, that sounds terrible, but let's go ahead. So on the last day that we were there, like, I had to wake up at 3:00 in the morning, and I think I went to bed at 1.
Sounds about right.
And so we like piled into the car. Johnny Feist drove. So shout out to Johnny Feist. He's coming down this weekend. And he drove us to Hoover Dam, and we got there at like 5:30 in the morning. This was during a government shutdown. And fun fact, the Hoover Dam is a government facility, but they weren't affected by the shutdown because they pay for themselves. So with the electricity that they sell, they have their own budget.
Wow.
So that was a fun fact that we learned there. But man, Hoover Dam at sunrise is gorgeous. I mean, it is just like there's the sun coming in at the sharp angles. I took like probably 10 photos, any one of which could have easily been the background of the next Macintosh OS software. Like, I mean, It was like, it was just so gorgeous there. And like, they've got this like pedestrian bridge where you can see like the entirety of the canyon, and you realize like how much water Hoover Dam is holding back based on the depth of the dam. And let me just tell you, it's a crap load of water. So like, it is. Like,
did you go on a tour that early in the morning as well?
No. They didn't have tours that early. We got to the dam at like 7, I think 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't even remember what time sunup was. I slept in the car most of the way there because I hadn't slept the night before. But that's right. I'm just remembering this. On the way back from the dam, my flight got canceled, so I had to find a new flight on my phone while driving back from Hoover Dam because I was scheduled to fly out that morning. So,
Adam, I think you found the episode title though. A crap load of water.
A crap load of water.
Crap load of water.
That's right. Featuring Ricky Villacrez. But anyway, so wow, that was a very long way to go to get to the question. How much are you looking forward to going to an entirely virtual CES? Because I got to say, I love CES. I love going there just because, like, you get to see all this crap that's never going to see the light of day. That's a really interesting idea, but nobody's ever going to buy it. And, you know, it's filled with PR people whose sole job it is there to impress you. Like, that's their whole job is we need to impress you because you're media. And so, like, I love going to CES just for that reason. I am not looking forward to CES as a virtual platform at all. Like, and I would think that CES would be begging media to show up at this point. But I'm just kind of curious as to, like, what your feelings are this particular year when it comes to CES.
I mean, you're right. Like, we're not going to be able to go and see this really cool stuff because, you know, aside from not being a huge show for mobile, there's a lot of technology, a lot of conceptual technology, and a lot of, you know, companies come from all over the world and show us their, you know, prototypes and give us demos and the VR and software, and it's just, it's really a dream. Like, there's so much stuff to see at CES. Yeah, please go ahead.
For a second. CES is like 80,000 LG wings all being presented to you. Like, here's this great idea that we have that nobody's ever going to buy. What do you think?
Was that a comment?
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ricky. You may continue. I just thought of that real time. So
that was pretty much it. I mean, all the hoverboard demo stations.
The giant scrollable LG TV that costs $30,000.
It's tough. It's really cool to see that the display wall. It's so cool to see that stuff there and in person. But obviously, this year is not going to be the same. So yeah, this year's virtual CES is just going to be work. When we go over there, we're working, but we're also like geeking out inside or to our friends. And we see our fellow, you know, peers and our friends. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do it this year.
Yeah,
unless some companies host like a virtual cocktail or something. I don't know, which might. Who knows?
Yeah. Hey, should we do a Douding Thomas CES mixer with like you know, everybody who would normally be at CES drinking? Maybe they could just come on the YouTube channel and drink instead.
Why not?
I gotta say, it's been fun so far. and like I'm empty, so
oh my goodness.
I'm debating whether I should kick into the second bottle or not. But yeah. So okay, yeah. I mean, like, I'm sure it's going to be fine. I've done a couple of. Have you done like the showstoppers with the virtual things that they've been doing like all summer? Have you done any of those?
I have not. I was invited, but I haven't done any of them. I'm terrible.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. And like, I totally get it because I mean, it's basically like a showcase. Like Lenovo's had a few of these too. Lenovo's done a few like of these showcases of like, here's stuff that we're going to show off in like they had a showcase for the foldable laptop that they had. It was like an NDA thing where they were able to show it off to media. So I'm like, and on the one hand, it'll be cool to like see that stuff, but on the other hand, it's one thing to see it, it's another thing to hold it, and to like be on the border of exhaustion and be like, yeah, this sounds like a really great idea. Let's write a story about this. You know,
I feel like
as they fill you with alcohol. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Right. Oh yeah. And that's the other thing about CES, Cliff. I've told you this before. When you go to like the Showstoppers events and the CES Unveiled, it's like booth, bar, booth, bar.
See, this is what I feel like, having never been to CES, but having done industry trade shows on both sides, both on the presenter side and on the depending on what it was, as the basically media.
Yeah.
I have had that experience, but CES just a little bit different. But what I was going to say is I feel like everybody that goes to CES, it's almost like because every single time they go and so many people complain about going, and then everybody gets wistful about this time of year if they're not able to go. It reminds me of like the mom who's had like 3 kids and they complain about it every single time and all the pain and everything. And then it's like the hormones kick in and then, and they completely forget about all the pain they went through. And they're just like, oh, I just can't wait to see all of my media friends. And I'm just
yeah. No, I get it's almost become a meme, like the I hate CES meme among the tech journalists that are on Twitter and whatnot. So it's like it's almost become kind of like a stock, like, oh, CES is here, I have to go, blah blah blah.
Get sick again.
And like, well, yeah, but there's also some speculation, and probably not wrongly so, that CES was probably a major spreader of COVID in the early days last year, because
given where most of the vendors are from,
because 80% of the vendors there are from China, so it wouldn't surprise me. Like, Michael Fisher went into the hospital early February, and it wouldn't surprise any of us to find out that he had COVID antibodies running through his system.
Here's like, I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but so the trade shows that I've been to have actually been furniture markets, because I was working at the time as a designer for a home goods manufacturer.
Okay.
And a lot of the vendors were from Asia, but specifically the people from China. Like you are not supposed to carry a camera around for the lot, but
wow.
Still, just like
that's a bit of a departure from CES.
Well, but because a lot of this is product that hasn't been shown outside of or it's a look.
Yeah.
But people were just people Asian, people that were not just Asian, but like obviously from like a foreign country, were walking around with tablets taking pictures. So not only was it like blatant, you're not supposed to do this, but they just decided to use a tablet. And as somebody who is the tech guy, I'm just like, really?
Whenever you take a picture, whenever you take a photograph with a tablet, an angel dies. We all know that.
Well, yes, there's that. But then, I mean, it's a 10-inch iPad, so you can see the screen.
You're not being subtle here, just so you know.
So that was my trade show experience. Very funny.
Okay, so we are well over an hour, and I promised Ricky that it would only be an hour, but so Ricky, I very much appreciate you coming on. Before we get into our final I have a final question for both of you, but before we get into that, Ricky, why don't you go ahead and let the audience know where we can find you on the internets so that we can read all of your awesome stuff.
Sure. So I am on gsmarina.com. I write news on there, and I do make appearances on their YouTube channel as well.
Nice.
And I'm on social media at Ricky V Tech. That's VTECH.
Nice.
And that's, you can find me there.
Very awesome. And we certainly will. Cliff, we all know where to find you, but it is Clifton M. Thomas. And because, you're credited in every show notes. So appreciate you hanging around too as well. So I want to just one last question. Actually, two last questions. Question number one: what was the best thing you got for Christmas this year? And question number two: what are you looking forward to most in 2021? So, Ricky, we're going to start with you because Cliff looks confused.
Okay. He might look confused, but I'm confused on the inside. So, Christmas, like I said, Christmas isn't too. It was low key this year, so nobody got gifts. Nobody gave gifts. So, did I get anything this Christmas?
Dinner with your family is a very acceptable answer.
I actually was promised a sushi dinner date for Christmas, so that's coming soon as well. So whenever that's happening, so yeah, I'm excited, looking forward to that.
So, go ahead. So no, I was gonna say, do you remember in New York the sushi place we ended up at?
Did we get sushi in New York?
Well, we ended up at a sushi place. We didn't stay long because like everyone's just like, oh, sushi. So
I can't recall. Okay.
Before we went to the rooftop bar, we were at a sushi place for about half an hour.
I think we were waiting for a table and we were just like, was it too crowded? I don't remember if I'm Yeah, but that bar was dope. The one that we went to and ended up going to. I remember that now. Yes. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah. So anyway, so 2021, what do you got coming?
Okay, 2021. I am looking forward to seeing more OEMs experiment with form factors. I'm looking forward to cheaper foldable phones like the upcoming Z Flip, whatever they do with it. I'm excited to see what Samsung's going to do with it. I'm excited to see hopefully other companies that have been working on foldables like Xiaomi. Huawei has been too, but they only have the X and the XS. But basically, I'm just looking forward to any other company that's going to put out something with a foldable display. What else is coming in 2021? I guess is new battery tech coming anytime soon? I don't believe so. It's been kind of discussed, right?
There's been a lot of chatter on my Google feed recently about graphene. Like a lot of new uses for graphene, but like I don't know that anything is really imminent necessarily. But shout out to our friends at Real Graphene. Sam, how you doing? But yeah, so I don't know that there's been a whole lot of new battery tech coming. So all right, that's legit though. That's legit. So that's good. And I was gonna say something. Oh, TCL. TCL's got some foldables coming
as well. Oh, the rollables rollables as well. The retractable displays, as I guess is a good way to put it. But yeah, that would be interesting as well. I mean, I've seen Samsung tease some, I don't know if you remember a couple of months ago, they teased some kind of like, imagine the possibilities of these different kinds of displays, a rollable one, a foldable one, and then one that had like one that folded in 3 places, I think, and that
the Westworld phone. Yeah, the Westworld phone.
Yeah, so basically, just like all these different, like these companies are pushing this hardware, and I'm excited to see where they're going to push it to. So that's what I'm looking forward in 2021.
Definitely awesome. Cliff, how about you? What was the best thing you got for Christmas, and what are you looking forward to in 2021?
So as far as like gifts were concerned, my gifts were kind of like it. You know how you were describing basically just having like the one gift in your lap and you're watching your kids open the fowls, and that's kind of how it was for me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm actually really what I am excited about is something I got for myself, because no one else buys me tech things because they know how discriminating I am.
I understand completely.
So I have a set of status audio. What is it? Some Pro ANC. I think. Let's see. Status audio. I wanted to flagship ANC, which is a horrible product name, but
okay.
I actually use that as like my backup pair of headphones, the Status Audio CB1s, as studio headphones, because they're super high value.
Okay.
Really like balanced as far as the audio is concerned. Anyway, but they are competitors to like the the horribly named, what is it? The Sony MX-1000.
Yeah.
3 and 4.
MX-1000. I think they're up to the X4s at this point.
I think so. Yeah.
They are up to the 4. Or like the stuff from Bose, or even like what Apple has just recently put up with the
AirPods Max.
Pro, AirPods
Oh
Max.
God, yeah, that's something.
But
I'm gonna spare the audience of 5 minutes of additional laughing about those headphones that I did on the podcast a couple weeks ago. But anyway, so go ahead, Cliff. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I was gonna say because here's why I'm excited about these because I'm just gonna go. I should have. I bet if I went to GSM Arena, they probably have stats for them right there. So
I bet they do. Because that's what GSM Arena does.
You're gambling with headphones, though, but just try.
This is true. But
and you know what? If they're not there, we know a guy who can get them there. So
completely unbranded, which I really like. That's sort of their thing is to present the quality of the competitors I was just mentioning about at a more competitive price.
Okay.
But 35 decibels of noise cancellation. They've got like the latest Qualcomm chipset, so it does aptX HD, which I'm really excited for. I actually just subscribed to Tidal, so I can get that really high quality.
So you're the one.
I am. I'm like the one guy that has it. Yeah, it's supposed to have let's see, like crazy battery life. It was like, oh, sorry, I'm just looking through the specs here. I don't need to make this as long as I'm making it, but
we can take it out in post.
That's true. You can just cut out all the ums and the.
Yep.
You would think
I won't, but I could.
So yeah, 35 hours of continuous music playback on wireless with ANC on, which is freaking crazy.
That's nice.
That is so. That's the way they're built. Anyway, we'll see. They haven't even shipped yet, but. You asked what I'm excited about as far as Christmas gifts are concerned. I actually did get some really nice silicon AirPods Max. Laugh. The comment from Kenneth Daniels. Yep. Yeah. I have mixed feelings about those, but that's probably another podcast. So I'm excited about those. I did get some nice. I think they're silicon pint glasses that have sort of like a marbled and tie-dyed kind of look. So. It's nice to give my daughter when she wants to share a drink with me or something like that.
Yeah, probably not with the same drink though.
2021 though. What I am looking forward to getting vaccinated. That's what I'm looking forward to for 2021.
See, that was my answer. But yeah. So my Christmas gift, I'm kind of enjoying this. I'm holding it up right now. It's the Go Cube. It's a Bluetooth connected Rubik's Cube. Now, I have to admit, like the first time I tried to use this, it was really frustrating because it was like they showed you step by step, like how to get to a certain point. And then they said, okay, now you try. And you're like, I don't know. That's what I have you for. So, but like I went through the tutorial again and like I actually solved the cube, like the whole cube with step-by-step instructions from them. So like totally I don't get credit for that, but like if I run through that tutorial like 4 or 5 more times, I'm going to be able to solve a Rubik's Cube by myself, baby. Nice. And it's all using the right hand move, which is that, and the left hand move, which is that. So that's great radio. But anyway, so yeah, so check that out. So I love the Go Cube. And it has restored my confidence in someday learning to actually solve a Rubik's Cube. So I'm really looking forward to that. So
I don't know that I've even held a Rubik's Cube since the early 80s.
Oh my God, yeah. So, but it's really cool because it's like they've got charging pins on the back here, and it has a stand that you can plug in. I can't get it in front of the camera, but you just like slide this right into the stand, and it lights up. And it charges. It's really cool. So I did an unboxing and hands-on for this, which is actually live on the YouTube channel now. So go ahead and check that out. But it's really fun. It's like a speed cube too, so it uses the magnets to like hold itself in place. Really cool. Anyway, and as for 2021, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting vaccinated. But like moreover, I think I'm looking forward to. I want to see more foldable stuff from companies like TCL, Lenovo, because I get the feeling Lenovo's not done with the foldables market. Even they did the foldable laptop this year, so I want to see what they can expand upon with that.
The engineers that worked with that also worked to create the original Razer Hinge.
And
now the second one. I mean, they share a lot.
Yeah. But like Lenovo, what I like about the Lenovo laptop is, like, you know, while Samsung says, here's a Galaxy Fold, put it on a pillow and never touch it. Like, Lenovo's like, what, you want to use a pen on this? Go ahead and use a pen on this bastard. We don't care. So it's like, I'm really looking forward to seeing like what Lenovo can do in the area of foldables. I'm going to say that again because I just got a text message from Facebook Messenger. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Lenovo can do. And hey kids, that's what post-production looks like. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Lenovo can do with foldables, because they just like, they're seemingly daring you to like break these things. And I also have already attended an NDA briefing for Lenovo and what they're going to be introducing at CES, and they've got some good stuff coming. So I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm looking forward to reconnecting with like a lot of the PR people from CES that I know I've like lost contact with when I left Android Authority because I stupidly registered for CES with my Android Authority email address. So now I'm using my personal one, and so like my freelance email address. So it'll be good to see. And also, speaking of freelance, I have signed on with 2 new companies to freelance with them for 2021. Android Central and the future, the whole Mobile Nations thing conglomeration going on there. So I'm getting started with them, and LifeWire. Actually, I'm going to be doing some roundups for them. And I think, I'm not positive on this, but I think for 2021, I'm going to be including a freelance corner for the freelance stuff that I've been doing, because that's honestly, the freelance work is the only reason that this podcast exists. Because that's what's like, I realized the other day that I think the podcast is kind of like just a hair in the black when it comes to like costs versus, you know, income from the podcast, like on a yearly basis. Like, I think I just barely squeak by and make a tiny itty bitty bit, like Happy Meal size profit. But like the freelance work is what allows me to keep the house that I record the podcast in. So I think I'm going to start including like a freelance corner for like what I do for Digital Trends, for what I do for Android Central, what I do for LifeWire, all those different places, just to, you know, kind of showcase that work and let people know more about what's going on in the life of Adam. Because at the end of the day, that's what the benefit of a doubt is about. It's about the life of Adam. And if you don't care about the life of Adam, I get that. But you're still listening to this podcast, which makes me happy. So anyway, guys, I think that about does it for me. So if you guys have any other final thoughts, I will open the floor to either of you, whoever wants to make a comment or a statement about, you know, 2020, 2021, 2022. I don't care. You know, whatever you want to talk about. The floor is yours. And I think I see Ricky gesturing, so I'm going to let him go first.
Good catch on that gesture. I didn't even know I was gesturing, but yeah. I'm looking forward to 2021. Let's be done with 2020 and leave it in the past. I'm ready 100%.
And you know what? Honestly, 2021 is going to be like any Democratic candidate that they could have put up for president this year. They could have put up like an old homeless woman with a tagline, "She's not Trump," and she would have gotten 30% of the vote right there. So I think 2021's tagline is going to be 2021. It's not 2020.
You know what?
And you know what? I'm sold. I am 100% sold. Kenneth Daniels, I do monetize. Trust me. Use my Amazon link. Okay, anyway. Moving on. Cliff, what do you have to say to finish things up? No pressure, but this is the last thing anybody's going to hear from 2020.
So I am setting my expectations for the first half of 2020 really low. I kind of think it's going to be more like 2020A.
You know what I do? I set low expectations, so I'm never disappointed.
Exactly. It's the Scotty principle. Like, I want to set the expectations so low that anything that happens that's anywhere close to being like impressive, well, yeah, the captain's gonna think it's great. You know, just
I love it.
Good chops. Scotty.
How long is it gonna take you to do that, Lottie? It'll take an hour. You can't tell him it's gonna take an hour if it's actually gonna take an hour. How's he gonna think you're a miracle worker? So, Ricky, I don't think you're up to that episode yet. Just keep watching; you'll get there.
I'm sure.
He actually, yeah. If you see specifically the episode with the Dyson Sphere on the next
Relics
generation
is the title.
Relics, that's right, with Scotty.
I'll look out for it.
He's talking to Jordy about the Scotty principle.
It's amazing.
It's great. So I will say I didn't just very quickly about things that I'm excited for outside of being vaccinated in mobile tech. I've been really impressed with the 765 system on a chip from in the handsets that I've used it in, which I think I've used it in 5 or 6 now. And my point is, I think I'm really looking forward to more of those really great mid-tier handsets that are almost flagship level. Yeah. And even things like the Fan Edition, where you have like, maybe it'll be like the 888 in the second half of 2021 with like, just something like that, something that's more affordable, because what that also gives you is, because you're selling more of those handsets, it can actually justify having like the $1,400 really awesome, blow it out, just throw everything in the kitchen sink, or make a crazy form factor kind of phones.
Yeah. That is going to be that. And actually, one thing that came up in my conversation with Don Rettinger when we were talking about like iOS versus Android, he said, and very rightly so, you can buy pretty much any smartphone in 2020 and it's going to be pretty good. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, you would actually have to try to buy a bad phone in 2020 in order to get like a really bad experience. Because like even the low end budget stuff is still pretty darn good.
As you know, Adam, I have a piece coming up. I guess it'll be in the next podcast.
Actually, it's supposed to be in this one, but yeah.
So busy.
Next one,
basically talking about that. The piece is basically like, how much fun can you get for as little as possible? So
right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that, because I think that's going to be super interesting, and it'll also mean like 10 minutes less of news that I have to report on that week. So that'll be exciting too. So all right, Ricky, thank you very much for coming on. You have been awesome. You have been an awesome guest, and there is a new series coming out on the Benefit of a Dowd YouTube channel called Beyond a Dowd, and I would love it if you would make an appearance on that show as well. One thing I got to ask you though is, I've seen you like throughout this evening, there has been some type of device that has kind of entered the bottom of the frame here, and I'm kind of curious as to like, is that like a laptop? Is that a tablet?
This is it's a MateBook. It's a laptop.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm sitting on a couch, so I have this laptop like right here. But if I put it on my lap, I'm looking all the way down here because the camera's all the way up here. Actually, so that's why I'm putting it right.
Crazy good field of view on your camera. Are you using like an SLR on a?
No, actually, this is actually a Razer Kyo Webcam.
Oh, the one that has the light built into it.
But I'm actually not
webcams. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually not using the built-in light here because it's not good. I mean, I'm using you probably see here, I'm using a softbox with a grid on it.
Okay.
And then
I do see that. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. Look at you all fancy with your lighting and stuff.
Listen, I got them, so I got to use them, right?
Are you using some kind of color filter too? Because it looks like everything that doesn't have a pop of color is like black and white, but then like your face, and then there's like a light.
That's a great question. The lights are actually just white, but I guess because I'm wearing black and this is a black couch, I guess my skin pops out. I don't know if it's that or if it's just the sun. I'm getting more sun over here. Maybe I don't know. And then this is a little moon lamp. I have it set to warm right now, but
yeah,
it and you have it set to knocked over.
It truly looks like you're using like a desaturation filter for most of it, or like a black and white filter, except for like it's crazy. I've been staring at it the whole time, going, "Is this an effect or is it just
that?" No, that's a great question. I actually now that you ask, I see it, but no, I have gray walls. So everything's monochrome really in my room. Now that I
Okay.
think about it, yeah, everything's monochrome. You can see
Except
the
for
wood now.
your sticky
under here.
notes and the wood and your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
You know what?
good.
If you could market that, that would be great. Like you could try to sell. You know what? I bet if you sold that to Samsung, you'd make $1 million right there.
Wait, sold what? Sold what?
Like the fact, the filter that you're using, even though you're not using a filter. You see, you have to understand. Look, this is all gone. So my jokes are going to be really bad right now. Okay, you need to wait. Actually, it's not totally all gone. Hang on.
Oh,
okay.
Happy birthday,
now
man.
It's
Happy
all
birthday.
gone. You know what? I did have a happy birthday. We had a steak dinner right before right before we came on. So it was Texas Roadhouse, by the way. Texas Roadhouse. Good
There's
stuff.
one right by my house. I've never been.
Really? Are you a meat eater?
Yes, I am, and I should. It's on my list. It's on my list of things to do.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about steak. If you're going to buy a good steak, if you're going to go to a good steak house, you need to have the steak sizzling as they serve it to you. Okay? Now, if you're not going to get that sizzling, and like Texas Roadhouse is like 20 minutes away from me, so like I had to go pick it up and drive it home and yada yada yada. So if you're not going to have it sizzling on the table in front of you, you may as well go to Texas Roadhouse because they set a higher bar than like an Outback. Okay. So like it's actually pretty good by the time you get back, but I mean honestly, the quality bar drops off significantly once it stops sizzling in front of you.
All I could think about is how easy it would be to sell fajitas to Adam.
Oh, we actually just did. This is our first week. This is our first week of Hello Fresh, so we decided to try that out, and we had tostadas yesterday. Magnifique. So, all right,
you're sitting in there. He's got the menu, and then the waiter walks by with the sizzling plate, and he's like, "I know what I'm having."
You know what? I have had fajitas. I call them DIY tacos because that's basically what they are. But anyway, before this goes completely off the rails, let's go ahead and close things out for this episode of the Douding Thomas Monthly Recap, the Douding Thomas Yearly Recap. I would like to very humbly thank Ricky for coming on and chatting with us. I would also like to namaste Cliff Thomas for not only coming onto the show, not only being a co-producer behind the scenes, but also for some damn reason being a $5 patron of this show. So namaste to you, Mr. Cliff. And if you could go ahead and just send that package back, that would be amazing. But anyway, for everybody else, I want to thank you for listening and for giving me the benefit of the doubt.
And stop recording.
And